Welcome to another episode of DockSide TV. On this episode, we're catching big speckled trout right before the opener of the Bonnet Spillway. We got fresh water coming in from the west side of the lake, but just before it floods Lake Pontchartrain from the opener of the Bonnet, flooding Mississippi River water into the lake, we're getting reports from Captain Ty Hibbs, Mitchell Chevalier, Captain Chris Roberts, Bubby Lammy, Matt McCabe, catching big, beautiful trout, so we had to go out there and get on the action before Lake Pontchartrain becomes too fresh to catch these big speckled trout. Enjoy this episode of DockSide TV. Right now we're fishing right after the opener of the Bonnet Spillway, and most people usually write Lake Pontchartrain off once they hear the spillway's been open, but it takes time for the fresh water to become an issue for fishing speckled trout like Pontchartrain. Right now the water clarity is somewhat stained, but we're simply throwing matrix shads and colors that we favor and the dirtier stained water. But it's still salty enough on the bottom. We're still catching plenty of speckled trout right now. And it could sometimes, depending on the wind direction and how many pins or bays they leave open in the spillway, it can take up to a month for the fresh water to completely take over the lake. And until that happens, you want to get out there and catch as many speckled trout as you can, as the fish can consolidate right in front of that freshwater surge. So get out there and catch some big fish. We'll be right back. It's been a very unique year this winter. We got birds diving in Lake Pontchartrain, and almost the middle of January, we're almost into February. We've had, I don't know if we've had a night below freezing as far as the low air temperature goes, and we still have shrimp all over Lake Pontchartrain. That's why the birds are diving. They're diving on these shrimp because these big, beautiful specks are driving the shrimp up to the surface. And we're even seeing things, you know, we'll catch a fish and you can see the whiskers of the shrimp hanging out the fish's mouth, and we even saw sea lice hanging on to some of the speckled trout, which we don't see that all that often. So it's been a pretty odd year. The fall was relatively slow, but this mild winter is making up for it as we're catching some really nice fish right now. This one foul hooked. Whenever there's the birds working like this and so many trout, sometimes you don't even have to hook them in the mouth. So many fish down there. Just keep popping it hard. The hook will just grab them anywhere. The size of the fish we've been catching here since the opening of the spillway underneath the birds, they've been starting at about 16 inches and ranging all the way up to almost 5 pounds. And it's not your typical style of fishing under the birds in Louisiana that most people are accustomed to. It's not where you're gonna pull up, see 4 or 5 birds dive onto the surface of the water, make a cast, and get 7 or 8 bites, or you could use in tandem rigs, catching them 2 at a time. We're working these matrix shads and vortex shads slowly on the bottom, 15 to 18 foot of water, and you got to make repeated casts, and you don't catch a fish on every cast, and the fish are kind of spread out. But the birds do tell you where the fish are, and we're just working that area over, catching some really nice fish. And I expect this to keep happening until either the spillway and the freshwater takes over the lake too much and drives the shrimp out, or the winter temperatures do become too cold and water temps get too low, which will also drive the shrimp out. But if the temps stay up, this could happen for quite some time. So for all the other episodes on fishing, all different styles of fish across Louisiana, all the way to Florida and across the Gulf Coast, make sure to check out our DockSide TV at www.matrixshad.com. And until next time, good fishing.
Leave your worries at the door and come enjoy the water. It's Ito time, peace of mind. If your boat won't go, don't you worry, cause you know it's Ito time, peace of mind. To the rescue, Ito time. To the rescue, Ito time. Ito.com.